What is going on, everybody? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys a Friday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. We have an interesting assortment of games on FanDuel and DraftKings tonight. DraftKings did it right. They left out the 10 o'clock Eastern games like we've seen these sites doing, and it's still an 11-game slate. FanDuel took it up a level, and they knocked off the 8:30 Eastern game with the Mavs and Blazers, and the 2 9 o'clocks, as well as the 3 10 o'clock games. So now we only have an 8-game main slate, and there's pretty limited value, and it doesn't look like much is going to open up throughout the day. There's not a ton of questionable guys. So this slate has become, very tough to build promising lineups, but I have 5 value picks for you guys, as I usually do, using FanDuel salaries. Hopefully these guys can help you build a winning lineup for tonight. Just drop a like and subscribe and put my alerts on so you don't miss any future videos. FanDuel did a little bit too much. I've been saying that I like that they knock off the later games, but them knocking off the 2 9s and the 8:30 is just a little too much in my opinion. We do have a 3-game after-hour slate at 10 o'clock. I will be playing that. It's nice to see an after-hours NBA slate with more than 2 games. We'll be getting to that later on in the evening. For these games, we have another record-breaking over-under. I mean, it just seems to one-up itself every single time, whether it's the Hawks, the Bucks, or the Pacers. Whenever these 3 teams play each other, the over-unders are a lock for over 250. Tonight, Atlanta in Indiana, it's a 262 over-under, a 3-point spread, so we can expect a pretty tight game here, meaning that there should be a lot of fantasy scoring in this game. We have a couple of blowout risks on this 8-game FanDuel slate. 14-point spread for the Celtics at home against the Jazz. That could get out of hand, seeing that the Celtics are fully healthy. The Wizards are 10-point underdogs in Cleveland. And then we got the Hornets 9.5-point underdogs in Chicago. So definitely Boston is a concern tonight for blowouts. But we'll get into my 5 plays. Happy Friday. I hope you guys all have a great weekend this weekend. We got a lot of football as well on our hands. So let's start off the weekend right with a Friday winner in NBA. Point guard, I like Trae Young. It's going to be tough to spend up on guys tonight. You definitely can't get both Halliburton and Trae Young tonight. It's just too difficult with these prices. There's not enough cheap value. I like Trae Young for $1,200 cheaper. They're going against each other. If you wanted to pick Halliburton, that's fine too. He's been going off. But Trae Young went down $100 since last slate, $10,200. He's projected for 51 fantasy points. That's what he needs to hit value. He's been really good all year long. Again, Halliburton at 11.4. He needs 57 fantasy points to hit value, and he's done that, basically in 6 straight games. So he looks good too. But like I said, limited cheap value on this slate. So I'm going to try to save the $1,200 there and go with Trae Young. Nonetheless, this Hawks and Pacers game, an unbelievable pace for fantasy points. Shooting guard, this looks like, one of very few cheap options. I haven't seen anyone under 5K other than this guy that I can even stomach rostering. And we're going to go over to Charlotte. We're going to go to Cody Martin with no Gordon Hayward. We've seen Cody Martin slide into the starting small forward role on FanDuel. He can play shooting guard and point guard, which is a little bizarre in my opinion. He should be a shooting guard, small forward. But 4,900, he's been playing a lot of minutes with Gordon Hayward out. Obviously, LaMelo Ball remains out. We can expect him from anywhere to 24 to 32 minutes. At 4,900, he needs 24 fantasy points to hit value. He's done that in 2 out of his last 3 games. Again, not a lot of comfortable cheap value on this slate. Cody Martin allows you to, make some sort of a good lineup. So I don't mind going down to Cody Martin at 4,900. A similar guy would be like an Isaiah Okoro on the Cavs at 5,100. But we're going to go with Cody Martin. I like him starting and seeing, significant minutes as a starter for the Hornets. Small forward, we're going to go to a guy. Who did I even go to? Well, let me scroll. Oh, we're going to go to Denny Avia. Again, a sub 6K guy. There's not a lot of cheap guys tonight. He's projected for 26 fantasy points. Yes, that keeps him a little bit short of his value since he needs 28 to hit value at 5,800, but 26 is fine. Again, there's not many guys sub 6K who project out to even come close to value tonight. We did just get Tari Eason out for the Rockets, but even a guy like Jayshawn Tate is up to 4,700 now, and he's been, absolute straight ass. So, Avia at 5,800, we can expect him to play 25 to 34 minutes tonight. It was a blowout against Cleveland last game. They're at Cleveland again, so hopefully they can, keep the game somewhat close in a 10-point spread. If this game stays close, he's going to play, plenty of minutes to get there. He can be a fantasy point per minute. He dropped a 50 against the Nets 3 games ago and a 37 2 games ago in, 30-plus minutes. So he's going to look pretty good tonight in this matchup against the Cavs if this game can stay remotely close. Power forward, we're going to go back to the Hawks. Going to be a popular guy tonight. His price has gone up, but not high enough. 7,200, Jaylen Johnson. This guy's been an absolute stud in his rookie year for the Hawks. Has really developed into a number 3 guy on offense behind Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Obviously, Bogdanović comes off the bench and is a pretty heavy usage guy, but with DeAndre Hunter remaining out, we've seen Jaylen Johnson take in a much larger role on this Hawks team. And again, this matchup against the Pacers is beautiful. 262 over-under. He needs 36 fantasy points to hit value. He is projected for 37 tonight. He has 44 and 52 fantasy points in the last 2 games, 39 3 games ago. So he's hit value in 3 straight games. We can project him for, anywhere from 28 to 36 minutes tonight. And this guy has been absolutely cooking. He's been scoring a lot. He's been grabbing a lot of rebounds. 4 steals last game. Fast-paced game against the Thunder. He has another fast-paced matchup tonight against the Pacers. So he looks really good at 7,200. One of the more comfortable, middle to high tier spends on tonight's slate. And then for center, again, it's going to be really hard to spend up. If you go with Trae Young or Halliburton, it's going to be very difficult to spend up on anyone else. So we're going to go to another 7K-ish guy at center for Nick Claxton at 7,400. Really good matchup against the Thunder. He's a guy that can fill it up really fast. And, he's averaging like 28 minutes on the year, but he doesn't need a ton of playing time to get to value. He's projected for 36 fantasy points tonight. That's what he needs to hit value. Can get really active on the defensive side. He's a rebounding machine. Great matchup, like I said, against the Thunder. It's got a nice over-under due to the pace of the OKC Thunder. It's a 234 over-under, and because the Thunder are on the road in Brooklyn, it's only a 5.5-point spread. So a really good spot for Nick Claxton, just to get there. I mean, again, like I've said numerous times in this video, not a lot of cheap value. We got to kind of pick a stud and then find our middle ground here tonight. Claxton looks pretty good at 7,400. And then obviously, like I said at the beginning of the video, DraftKings a bit of a different story with the 3 extra games on the slate. You got to worry about Luka Doncic being questionable there. And then the other 2 9 o'clock games, Magic at Denver and Miami at Phoenix. But for FanDuel, not much to wait on. I think Bruce Brown is questionable for the Pacers. He'd actually be a pretty good play tonight if he does play. We'll get that news before lock. But that'll do it for this video, guys. Interesting night here of games on each slate. Again, I'm playing that after hours slate, so stay tuned later on, even later on this Friday night. So until next time, I am the FD Guru, and I'm signing off. Peace.